Hi guys, Valentin here. We're here in Istanbul on this boat, and today's video we're gonna make an extra suit to the video from Tenerife, where we talked about basically when you're stuck in life, it's usually that you didn't learn a lesson and that there's something that you don't want to see. And I want to talk to you today about like what happens after you learn the lesson. So let's say you did some introspection. Let's say you finally like got the thing.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Fuck! Whoa! So, what happens after you learn the lesson?
You make sure the camera won't fall damn head.
So let's say you finally did some introspection. Let's say you finally found what you're resisting towards to. And now that you accepted it and you learned the lesson, you had your epiphany, what happens after you learn your epiphany? Well, like we said in the previous videos, life is quite a bitch. Call it life, call it God, call it the universe, call it whatever the fuck you want. It's gonna test you. Because it's not enough to just learn it. Life is gonna test you to see if you really integrated it. And also to see if you really integrated the decision. And if you really want to act on it. Because most of the time we just want to be someone or do something or have some results, but we want it straight from the back. We're not really to put the work in, the failure in. And usually we create this amazing self-image about ourselves and this amazing version that we would like to be, but that we are not, because they're just the experience, the fuck-ups, and like all the fucked up shit is not there. And you cannot just become. You need the experiences, you need the fuck-ups, and like you cannot be decisive right away. You cannot have integrated everything just by learning some books or just by looking at some video courses. You need the fuck-ups that come with it. So once you have your epiphany, once you have your lesson, quote unquote, and once you actually learn something, life is gonna test you. And it's gonna bring you people, it's gonna bring you situations and events just to test if you really integrated that lesson, if you're really like sure about what you want and what you bring on. And let's take relationship, for example. Let's say you had some fuck-ups, you had some partners, you had some breakups, and you finally decided what you want in a partner. And you finally decided what you will tolerate and what you're not gonna tolerate, what you would like to expect, what are your boundaries and what you're sure you don't want to. It's not that easy, it's not that simple. You're still gonna be with people that will challenge that. You'll still go and find people that will challenge you and test you to see if you're really sure about your decision, to see if you're really gonna respect that boundary that you set, to see if you really learned your lessons from that previous experiences. So like, if you had like some patterns with partners from the past, and that you learned your lesson, and now that you're ready to attract a new partner, you're not gonna attract it straight away. Life is gonna test you. And it's gonna make sure that you really integrated your decision, and most important, that you really are sure and decisive about the decision. So once you had your epiphany, once you took the decision, now you need to act on it, and especially stay true to yourself and to that decision, because you're gonna get fuck-ups and that's inevitable. So let's talk about identity for a second. So usually from the clients that I was able to work with, and from my past experiences, I saw that there's this tendency to imagine a certain version of yourself that you'd like to be, and to imagine a certain qualities and certain character traits that you'd like to have. And you kind of fantasize onto them. And like, you want to be that person. And usually we're really extremely frustrated because we want to be that person, but we're not yet. And usually the frustration comes from when you see the difference and the distance between where you are and what you'd like to be. And usually we want to just go by magic like that to that new version. Like you read a book, you had an epiphany, you had a life lesson, you just want to be that person now. Be that extremely amazing version of yourself that keeps your promises to yourself, that is productive, that is successful. But the truth is like, you're not gonna get there so fast, because knowing something and integrating something is two different things. And you probably know about this already. You have like your logical mind, you have like your emotional mind. And you have this correlation between the two. And there's a Google Translate between your mind and your emotions, because like you have your thoughts and then you have your emotions. You have what you're thinking and then you have what you're feeling. And the equivalent of understanding is integration. And you probably had these experiences before, like where like you have like this aha moment, like what the fuck moment, when you finally get it. Probably when you finally understand something, but really deeply, when you finally experience something and now it's not just thought, you really experienced it. And that's integration. And you can't be that version of yourself that you'd like to be without integration, which means like just learning something or just understanding something is not enough. You need the fuck-ups, you need the experiences that come with it, and you need the life practical lessons where you lived something and literally integrated it in your cells. Because, man, your cells have memory. When you have an experience that triggers you, well, that thing that you feel in your belly or in your gut or in your chest is not just a feeling. It's a physical sign that at that point in your body, your cells stocked some information. You have a bunch of memory inside of you. And when you feel triggered and you feel like a specific physical sensation, that's a piece of information that your body has. And that's a piece of information that you stocked somewhere along the line. And it can serve you or it can fuck you up. And in order to change that, you need the experiences. You need the fuck-ups. You need the life experiences that goes with it. So, going back to when you have the epiphany and then life will test you, it will test you to reinforce that new identity that you chose. Because identity is built. It's built through experiences, through fuck-ups. It's built through life. It's built through living. And you're not gonna build that just sitting at home and reading some books or just doing some meditation. You need the experiences that come with it to make you really integrate and understand that on a deeper level. And here's a spoiler to you. Everything that you understand, you actually don't understand. The rabbit hole is like so big. Everything that you think you understand, you actually don't understand. Because every single epiphany that you have or every single piece of knowledge that you get, it makes sense now. But 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, it's gonna make sense on a whole different level. Because the rabbit hole has no end and you can go as deep as you want in it. So every single lesson or epiphany that life has taught you or that you learned, you're gonna integrate it every single time at a different level, which means it's an ongoing process. And the more you experience it, the more you integrate it. The more you integrate it, the more you shape your identity. The more you shape your identity, the more you can assume it. The more you can assume it, the more you can live your life in alignment with yourself and with that new identity, and the more you can get the results that you want. And this goes back to the results that you have are a direct correlation of the actions that you have. And the actions that you have are a direct correlation of the thoughts that you have. And the thoughts that you have are direct correlations of your identity. And we're going to talk about this more in a future video about this square of actions. Results are produced from actions, which are produced from thoughts, which are produced from identity. But if you really want to change your results and your whole life satisfaction overall, you can't just force it. You can't force yourself to do something or not do something. You can't choose just positive thinking. That's bullshit. You need to change your whole identity, who you are in the core, who you are in the middle. And that goes through, again, fuck-ups, events, and life situations. Now, let's talk about a lesson that took me like 80,000 euros to learn. And this was a painful lesson, but honestly, I think the biggest lesson this year so far, which is depressing, but liberating at the same time. The lesson is, there's no end point. There's no point where you're gonna finally be illuminated, where you're finally gonna beat the game and be that best version of yourself. Because take this example for granted. Now, with what you have, take something that you have in your life. Maybe it's a partner, maybe it's something material, maybe it's a job, maybe it's an accomplishment. Take something that you have right now that 5 years before, 10 years before, it was like the fucking dream. And take a couple of seconds to think about that. What do you have today that a couple of years ago was like a fucking dream? And my question to you is, why are you not happy? If what you have today was like the freaking dream before and you achieved it, why are you not happy? Why isn't it enough? Why are you chasing the next thing? Why do you want more? And we can argue about this like this is the nature of the human being, wanting more and more and more. And it's true. But the thing is, if you base your desire and your happiness based on what you would like to achieve, the person you'd like to be, or the result you'd like to have, it's never gonna end. And you're always gonna be feeling frustrated because there's always gonna be space between who you are today and what you would like to be. And you always need to leave a bunch of fuck-ups and a bunch of life situations to get there. Because again, understanding is not enough. You need to live it. So after 80K of coaching and seminars and like mentoring, you just understand because there's no end to it. There's no a point where all your chakras are open, where your third eye is open and you're finally illuminated. There's no happiness point when you're totally happy. Because the human experience is a polar experience. You have night and you have day. You have bad and you have good. You have white and you have black. It's always a polarity, and you can't be always happy. You're gonna feel depressed sometimes. You're gonna feel sad sometimes. You're gonna have fuck ups sometimes. And that's totally normal. And when you actually get to embrace that, and you stop chasing that version that you'd like to be, and you actually start to embrace the process and understand that you'll eventually get there, but you start to find your pleasure during the process, that's when you actually find the most happiness. That's where you actually find the most enjoyment. And paradoxically enough, that's where you find the most productivity. Because, and this goes back to what Tony Robbins says, there's two types of motivation. There's push and there's pull. And push is like this hard motivation where you don't want to do something, but you just gotta like push for it and you want to get there. And there's pull. And pull is basically like you're just attracted to it. It just comes naturally. You're just pulled towards it. And that's what you're seeking. And most people like we're by default pre-programmed to work on push motivation, because that's everything that works so far and we haven't experienced anything else. But the truth is you can achieve as more or even more with pull motivation. And pull is just being aligned with yourself and just knowing what you want, knowing what inspires you, and going towards that and going to achieve that. And this is the paradox for like extremely high performance people. And this is the paradox that I see with like some of my clients, where they're so hooked on this performance. They're so addicted to this performance that they're afraid that if they're gonna let go of their like push motivation, they're not gonna perform anymore. But that's not true. You can perform as much or even better with just pull motivation when you're just attracted to it. Because it's like a video game. And if you ever played video games, or if you've seen someone that played video games and that was really addicted to it, just remember how that person was or how you were, like just playing that video game for freaking hours without any sleep, without going to the toilet, without doing anything, without any sleep, and you still can do it, and you can still go do it. Imagine like playing a video game that you hate. You'll not be able to do that. It's the same thing with life. It's the same thing with like a relationship. It's the same thing with business. It's when you're passionate about it, when you really love it, when you really are pulled, inspired toward it, you can do it forever. And it's not gonna require you any motivation. It's not gonna require you any push. You just want to do it. It comes natural. It's like a video game, and then you enjoy the process, and even like the fuck ups, and even like the shit that doesn't work your way, you enjoy it. And that's the beauty of it. So seek for pull, don't seek for push. Seek for inspiration, and don't seek just meaningless goals that are not actually inspiring you. Now, how do you do that? Okay, cool, Valentin, I understand the thing, but how do you actually do that? Well, it's not easy, but it's simple. It means letting go of all that bullshit that you're attached to, and I mean all the bullshit, pretty much all the goals that you have, all the things that you thought you want. You gotta challenge them to see if that's really you, or that's a version of you that you'd like to be, or like that's some version of someone, a comparison that you took and that you'd like to be. And once you challenge that, you can see what are your real inspirations and what are not your real inspirations. And by the way, if you're really interested about this, comment in the video below and I'll make a special training, a special guided meditation to how to find your inspiration. And I'll send it to you for free. Just comment below the video. Now, with that being said, if you want to go deeper already into like this inspiration thing, this push and pull motivation, click this video and go watch it. It's about the three ways we get shit done in life, which is mainly inspiration, motivation, and discipline. Go check it out and you're gonna see the difference. And we talk a little bit more in depth about inspiration. And if you really want to feel it, as I said, comment below and I'll get you a meditation. With that being said, wish you grace from Istanbul. Subscribe and follow, and see you in the next video.